In the land of Rashi, where warlords ruled with iron fists and blood-stained swords, an empty throne waited. But not for long, for in the shadows, a man unlike any warrior before him was rising. A man who would conquer not with the loudest roar, but with the quietest whisper. His name was Broke Hzile.
The mid-1920s. The powerful warlords of Rashi gathered in confusion. Maps were redrawn weekly. Armies clashed daily. Yet none could claim ultimate victory. And then they began to notice him. Broke Hzile, also known as Ras Tafari. Wispy, quiet, mild-mannered, everything a warlord was not. His rivals laughed. How could this man pose any threat? But they didn't understand the power of patience or the art of the invisible war. While others schemed in war councils, Broke Hzile played a different game. A letter here, an alliance there, a carefully chosen word, a strategic silence. Like a chess grandmaster, he moved pieces across the board that his opponents didn't even know existed. One by one, his rivals fell, not to his sword, but to his strategy. They were outmaneuvered before they even realized the battle had begun. By 1927, only one significant obstacle remained between Broke Hzile and absolute power. His name was Smith Fag of Elabic. Smith Fag of Elabic, a warrior in every sense, blustery, powerful, commanding an army that could shake the earth. He considered Broke Hzile weak, unworthy, a pretender to leadership, and he had every intention of proving it. Broke Hzile summoned him. The message was simple: come to Hilton Abbey, declare your loyalty, recognize me as leader. Smith Fag laughed. Was this wispy scholar actually commanding him? But something nagged at his mind. Something about the tone of the letter. It was too confident. Smith Fag stayed away from the capital. Defiantly, proudly, he would come to Hilton Abbey on his terms, not as a supplicant. He would bring his own army, 10,000 men, the finest warriors in Elabic. Let Broke Hzile see real power. Then they would discuss who should rule. But Broke Hzile had anticipated this. Every single move. He had studied Smith Fag for years. His pride, his tactics, his weaknesses. He knew the warrior would come with his army. In fact, he was counting on it. The trap was set. Now, he simply needed to spring it. Smith Fag positioned his formidable force in a valley 3 miles from the capital. Close enough to threaten, far enough to maneuver. He waited. Broke Hzile would have to come to him now. Or so he thought, because what Smith Fag didn't know was that the master had already made his next move. Broke Hzile sent emissaries, not with demands, not with threats, but with an invitation, an afternoon banquet, in Smith Fag's honor. The warrior read the invitation and smiled. History whispered a warning. Previous kings had used banquets as traps, but Smith Fag knew history well. Smith Fag signaled his understanding of the situation. He agreed to come, but only if he could bring his personal bodyguard, 600 of his best soldiers, all armed and ready. To Broke Hzile's surprise, the answer came back. Yes, Broke Hzile agrees. Come with your 600 men. Smith Fag gathered his 600 finest warriors. No drinking, he commanded. Stay alert. Watch for any betrayal. If I don't return by nightfall, attack the capital. Burn it to the ground." His men nodded. They were ready. With this elite force, Smith Fag felt invincible. The march began. Smith Fag rode at the head of his bodyguard, armor gleaming, weapons ready. Hilton Abi rose before them. Beautiful, prosperous, powerful. And somewhere in that city, Broke Hzile waited. But for what? Smith Fag's instincts screamed caution, yet his pride demanded he go forward. The banquet hall was magnificent. Tables overflowed with the finest foods and wines. Musicians prepared their instruments. Everything was perfect, too perfect. Broke Hzile had spared no expense honoring his guest. But was this hospitality or theater? Smith Fag arrived. Behind him, 600 warriors, armed, armored, dangerous. They filled the hall like a conquering army. Servants trembled, yet Broke Hzile stood calm, that gentle smile never leaving his face. He welcomed Smith Fag warmly, deferring to him as if desperate for his approval. Broke Hzile was charming, deferential. He treated Smith Fag as if desperately needing his approval and cooperation. Every request was granted, every wish fulfilled. Smith Fag felt his power in the room. Perhaps this scholar understood the natural order after all. Then came the traditional singing of songs, honoring Rashi's great leaders. Broke Hzile announced he would sing a special song for this occasion. Smith Fag leaned back, expecting praise. But the song that followed was about the warlord of Sidamo. Only about the warlord of Sidamo. Not a single verse mentioned Smith Fag. The insult landed like a blade. Smith Fag felt it, the shift in power. Broke Hzile wasn't afraid, wasn't intimidated. This wasn't submission. It was something else. Something that made Smith Fag's warrior instinct scream danger. He was being played. But how? The banquet ended. Smith Fag and his men began the march back to camp. But something felt wrong. Broke Hzile had been too polite, too accommodating. That song, it was a message. But what did it mean? Smith Fag urged his men to move faster. And then he saw it, where his camp had stood, 10,000 men strong. There was nothing. Smoking ash, doused fires, abandoned weapons scattered like broken dreams. His army was gone, vanished. But where and how? A witness emerged, a single soldier who had hidden, terrified, as events unfolded. And the truth he told was devastating. During the banquet, while Smith Fag dined with Broke Hzile, another army, commanded by one of Broke Hzile's allies, had approached Smith Fag's camp from an unseen route. Broke Hzile's soldiers came not with swords, but with gold, baskets overflowing with cash and treasure. They offered to purchase every weapon, every piece of armor. Those who hesitated were intimidated by the sheer numbers. Within hours, Smith Fag's entire army had been disarmed and scattered. Smith Fag made his decision. With his remaining 600 soldiers, he would march south. Regroup, rebuild. He was still alive, still dangerous. But Broke Hzile had predicted this too. Because every chess master knows, you must control not just where your opponent is, but where they can go. The southern route was blocked. Another of Broke Hzile's armies, strategically positioned, cut off all escape. To the north, Hilton Abi heavily defended. To the south, this new army, east and west, mountains and wilderness, like a chess master announcing checkmate. Broke Hzile had predicted every move. For the first time in his life, Smith Fag surrendered. The great warrior, the unconquerable force, broken without a single sword being drawn. Broke Hzile had defeated him utterly, not through strength, but through superior strategy. Not through violence, but through understanding human nature itself. Broke Hzile gave Smith Fag a choice, prison or death. But there was a third path, to repent, to acknowledge his sins of pride and ambition, to renounce warfare and worldly power. Smith Fag, who had never bowed to any man, chose the monastery. The warrior became a monk. The man who had commanded 10,000 soldiers now commanded only himself. Some say it was imprisonment. Others say it was freedom. But one thing was certain. Smith Fag would never again challenge Broke Hzile for power. Broke Hzile had achieved what seemed impossible. The warlords of Rashi were united under one leader. Not through the bloodiest battles, but through the quietest strategies. He had proven that true power comes not from the loudest voice, but from the wisest mind. History remembers conquerors, but few remember how they conquered. Broke Hzile, the man they called Ras Tafari, united the land of Rashi not through the strength of the sword arm, but through the strength of his mind. He understood something his rivals never did, that the greatest victories are won before the battle ever begins. In a world that celebrates the loudest warrior, Broke Hzile proved that the quietest strategist changes history. The empty throne was empty no more. Checkmate. So, Smith Fag walked right into the trap. 10,000 soldiers gone. His power shattered. His pride broken. But here's the question that's probably burning in your mind right now. What would you have done differently? If you were Smith Fag, how would you have handled Broke Hzile's invitation? Would you have gone to the banquet? Brought more soldiers? Stayed away completely? Maybe you see a move he missed, a strategy that could have changed everything. I want to hear it. Drop a comment below and tell me. If you were Smith Fag, what would you have done differently? And if you enjoyed this strategic breakdown and want more stories like this, hit that subscribe button. Let's build a community of strategic thinkers. Subscribe now, then comment your strategy. I'll be reading every single one.